good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Evening Review. My name is Toivo Jabela. Tonight on the platform we are joined by Sisa Namandje. He is a seasoned lawyer. He is a member of the Swapo Central Committee and also a member of the Politburo of Swapo. And he's here to help us unpack this debate that is going on still about whether the ruling party has a candidate for 2024 or not, and if yes, how was that arrived at? Sisa, thank you very much for making time.
Thanks, Toivo, for calling me to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So, I think before we go to the party itself, let's start with at the national level.
Yes.
Does the Electoral Act of Namibia dictate to individual political parties how they must select their candidates for presidential elections before they are fielded and registered with ECN, or is that left to the parties themselves?
Now, first, I think we should start with the Constitution under Article 28.
Yeah.
It makes provision as to how the President of the Republic of Namibia should be elected. Yeah. That is through universal, direct, and suffrage election. And it says that the president must be appointed in terms of the principles and procedures established by an act of parliament.
Yeah.
And parliament has enacted such an act, the Electoral Act you are talking about of 2004. And the key sections is section 72 and 73. Mm-hmm. Section 72 provides the requirements for one to be nominated. Yeah. When I say nominated, not by political party, nominated after the president have issued a proclamation in terms of section 64 of the Electoral Act, opening up nomination of candidate for the presidential election. And so that section says that one, first of all, you must be a registered voter. Secondly, you must have qualified in terms of section Article 28, sub-article 3. In other words, you must be above 35 years old. And thirdly, you must then have been nominated in a prescribed manner. Prescribed manner always means in terms of the regulations made by the ECN. And there were regulations made published on the 1st of October 2015. There is Form 17 that is completed by presidential candidate nominated by political parties. So the Act does not prescribe to political parties. You got to meet the requirement of nomination under Section 73, which includes the fact that a political party, they must complete that form. Yeah. And that nomination must be signed by an authorized official or office bearer of a political party. In our case, will be our Secretary General. The form must bear a seal of the political party. And the political party must have paid 20,000. And the certificate of a registration of a political party must be attached. And the candidate who must have been registered as a voter must consent. That's all. If the Form 17 has been completed in such a way and signed by an authorized person of the political party, we are done. And that is, as far as Swapo party is concerned, because internally we have finalized the Congress in 2022 in November. Our Secretary General knows the procedures. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah will be the person to be in that Form 17.
Wonderful. Yeah. So then, now let's come to the party, because since Congress we have seen a flurry of things. We've seen attempts by some party members like Jerry Kanjo trying to say, look, there ought to be another platform at which a candidate for the presidential election must be formally endorsed. That is now internally within the party itself. But externally, on Monday, we had Dr. Panduleni Itula of IPC in this very seat, also sort of validating those concerns that Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, apparently there ought to be another process to formally field her as a candidate.
All these discussions, and I also listened to Dr. Itula, and with greatest respect, there is a deep fallacy in his submissions. They are devoid of any legal substance. First of all, and he also doesn't have a standing as a person who is not a Swapo party member. Remember, political party established in terms of its own constitution. It has rules and procedure how it elects its officials.
Yeah.
The constitution and the rules and procedure collectively forms what we call binding terms, binding the party and members.
Yeah.
So it's an issue between members and the political party itself.
Yeah.
And as far as Swapo is concerned, there was a Congress in 2022 November. We elected our president, vice president, and secretary general, and deputy secretary general. Now, and this is the key thing.
Yeah.
In 2004, after 2004, the party realized that the extraordinary Congress that was held in May 2004, I was there myself, brought a lot of disunity and infighting. The party took a principled decision to find a new way to promote unity in the party. And that formula was to be achieved through new rules and procedures for electing office bearers and cadres to be deployed in government. So in paragraph 8 of those rules, it says the objective is to maintain unity in the party. Looking at the event of 2004, the person who will be a candidate for the office of the President of the Republic must come from the top four.
Yeah.
And it says that it must be the President, automatically. It's the President. In the event the President cannot run, because like in this case, he has served 2 terms, the Vice President must, automatically. There does not need to be the so-called endorsement. Those who are calling for an endorsement, they are just making those statements for atmospheric purposes, and they are being mischievous. There does not need to be, it's an automatic thing. It operates by way of the provisions of the rules and procedures. And by the way, assuming our Vice President was not prepared or was unwilling to be the candidate, the Secretary General will be the candidate. But in this case, our Vice President has been going from one region to the another. She is prepared. She's our candidate. There does not need to be any other decision, whether by Central Committee, Politburo, or an extraordinary Congress. She is our candidate. All what we are waiting for is the proclamation by the President in terms of Section 64 of the Electoral Act. Once it comes, our Secretary General will put all the administrative steps in process, and to have our candidate submitted to the chairperson of the ECN. Yes.
Yeah. So just to bring in the element, because I did also ask Dr. Itula why, I mean, not me per se, but you know, there are questions as to why he would be interested in internal Swapo processes. And his argument is that he doesn't want to compete later with people who came to that competition through fraudulent processes.
Yeah, you see, I listened to, it's again an attempt to delegitimize our candidate.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter, he doesn't have a standing.
Yeah.
The rights and obligations, the rights arising from the procedure and rules of Swapo Party and the Constitution can only be asserted in a court of law by Swapo Party members. Assuming that, for instance, that our candidate is not a registered voter, or there was no completion of Form 17. Of course, another person who is not a Swapo Party member can challenge that.
Yeah.
But once we, in terms of our own rules and procedures, through the Congress we have produced a Vice President. The Vice President in this case is the automatic candidate.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. It will happen whether they like or not. And in fact, the danger is this. People in Namibia, they say, we consulted lawyer. It is a serious debate. You go to a lawyer who has argued in his life only a case involving a dispute over ownership of a donkey. On a serious matter, you consult that lawyer and you come and speak with authority on an issue serious like this. It's a serious debate. So, that this debate is irrelevant, is a bad debate, it has no merit, it's bad, and whether people want or not, Swapo parties, we have demonstrated through these rallies that we are having. Comrade Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah is our candidate. Everything as far as Swapo party is concerned, we are done.
The process is
we are waiting for the president to issue that proclamation, and once it is done, she will be on a ballot paper, and she will win the elections.
Tell me, Sisa, is there any conflict between the document that Swapo produced after the 2004 election, what we call, Extraordinary Congress, which we call generally as the succession policy of Swapo, which details exactly what you're saying now? Is there conflict between that policy and the constitution of the party itself, which says that, has that been incorporated into the constitution? Because the constitution, according to Dr. Itula, talks about the Swapo president being the automatic candidate for national elections. And his argument is, and I just took note again from that interview, he is suggesting that because Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, Rule 12 of Swapo doesn't make provision for automatic promotion, therefore there is conflict there, that she is not president as is required by the constitution of the party.
I listened with keen interest, but you should have exercised caution. With greatest respect, Dr. Itura's submissions here were all over, here, there, and there. Irrelevant things. For instance, he was going out to Article 17, which has nothing to do with this matter, actually. That is a general right to participate in political activity. That's not the question here. Secondly, he wanted to tell people that he's speaking with authority, that he amended the Swapo Constitution in 2016. Swapo Constitution was never amended in 2016, first of all. Secondly, it's not amended by an individual, particularly an individual who didn't have a senior position in Swapo. It is amended by the Congress. It was amended in 1998, 2013, 2018, and 2020. So Mr. Swapo has no record of Mr. Dr. Itula having amended the Constitution, and he couldn't as a matter of law. Secondly, with greatest respect, the Swapo Party Constitution does not have specific provisions regulating how to nominate or how to, who succeed who in respect of the position of the President of the Republic. Hence, the party is entitled to created rules and procedure. So the concept of conflict doesn't arise. The document is approved by Swapo party structures. That's why at the beginning I told you, the binding terms between Swapo and its members are the Constitution and the rules and procedures collectively. So the conflict they are talking about, with greatest respect, is self-created, is self-serving. So we are here, I'm here to show you that this general statement, interestingly, by non-members, are of no consequences to us. We are done. There's no conflict. The rule, and please, as journalists, you must read that. Paragraph 8, paragraph 10, paragraph 53 of our rules and procedures. It's very, very clear. And Dr. Itula avoided it. He didn't refer to paragraph 8. He didn't refer to paragraph 10, if I listened well. He referred to some and only halfway.
Well, what do they say, those
They say exactly that because they are there exactly to address the question as to who must be Swapo party candidate for the office of the President of the Republic.
Yeah.
Those rules are there to address that. And they are telling you in your face, everybody, that it must be the President.
Yeah.
That's why in 2019, there was not because Comrade Hage has only served one term.
Yeah.
There was not an extraordinary Congress because we knew it must be the President. In this case, he can no more run. The rule says it must be the Vice President.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's repeated for those who struggle to read, probably, and for those who struggle to grasp a simple thing, repeated in paragraph 8, repeated in paragraph 10, repeated in paragraph 53.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's it. Our candidate, and we do not need to explain ourselves.
Yeah.
Our Vice President is an automatic candidate for the office of the President. Full stop. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, Sisa, maybe history will also help a bit.
Yeah.
Since the inception of the succession policy, as I like calling it,
Yes.
how has the party handled nominations for its presidential candidates, so that we also appreciate how previous processes were held, 2012, for example, and then 2017, if you like.
I just told you, after 2004 extraordinary Congress, the party took a serious reflection. Is this the right way we are doing? When the president of the party becomes unavailable for the office of the President of the Republic, is it the right thing to be opening up everybody through an extraordinary Congress? The party decided this is not the best way to preserve unity in the party. So the candidate for the office of the President of the Republic must come from the top four, most senior members of the party, starting with the President. So in other words, the President, for those terms, there is no question when the national presidential elections comes up, he is the one there. And when he's not available, is the Vice President. Therefore, you remember in 2012, Dr. Hage Geingob became the Vice President. And when the term for Dr. Hifike Punye Pohamba ran out, those rules and procedure were already available. We always knew that when Dr. Hage Geingob became Vice President in 2012, he will definitely be the Swapo party candidate at the elections in 2014 November. And that is what happened. Was there an extraordinary Congress? There was not. Because the rules are very clear.
Yeah.
And when the elections came in 2019, because he have only done his first term, there was no question as who would follow him.
Yeah.
He would be the candidate. And now, automatically, everybody knows, nobody needs to take a decision after the Congress. It is Comrade Netumbo.
Yeah.
So we have handled it very well.
Yeah, because what surprises me, Sisa, is that prior to Congress last year, the entire understanding for all of us, really, including those of us in the media, was that was exactly the way you're explaining it. To say that if you emerge as VP, that's why the contestation really, the fierce contestation was around that position, because it carried a particular purpose in the context of that Congress, in the context of the fact that President Hage Geingob is now about to leave office. So I called all the three candidates individually to this platform, spoke to them, and each of them gave a plan for what they would do for the party as Vice President and what they would do for the country, meaning that they understood it to mean exactly that it will make them the automatic candidate also for the party in the national election. So where does this confusion then come from suddenly after the Congress?
Yeah, you see, some people thrive very well in politics when they cause confusion, when they tell lies, when opponents are blackmailed, they think that in that way they will thrive politically.
Yeah.
This campaign of questioning our vice president's candidature for the 2024 presidential election is the same old trick by disgruntled politicians. It's not something new. It's bitter losers. So that is the only reason. It doesn't, that's why I said a few months ago that there is no iota of ambiguity that who is the candidate for the Swapo party. It's very clear.
Yeah.
We don't need to be debating, wasting time. So it's a debate that, with greatest respect, must not obtain priority in terms of news in our society. Because in any way, it's only few individuals who are propagating this fallacy. Only few individuals. Of course, there is a small segment in the Swapo party. And we'll debate on another day as to why they are doing that. Some are saying we need another Congress. Some are saying even a central committee must take a resolution endorsing. We are not going to do it, by the way, because our candidate, there's no question about it. Mm-hmm. So we are going to make sure that we mortify, we demean, we discard, we destroy any attempt through this public propagation of lies, any attempt to be putting our candidates, presidential candidates, in doubt. Mm. So it's a non-issue. And with greatest respect to Dr. Itula in particular, I think he must concentrate on his political party. When there were questions as to how one councillor was inserted in the list at Windhoek municipality, with Swapo members, we have no locus standi to be questioning the internal procedures, because that's not the way we win elections, by blackmailing political opponents. So I think you as journalists, and I want you to tell everybody, and I have brought copies for you, paragraph 8 is clear, paragraph 10, paragraph 53. And every other person who is a rumor monger, trading in rumors and gossips, that political gossips, must please read those. And because we are tired to be responding to nonsensical legal interpretation, even by people with no rudimentary knowledge in law. Yeah. That's why I'm saying interpretation, by the way, of constitutional provision is not to prescribe a painkiller to a patient or whatever. It's a serious business, by the way. Yeah. Therefore, I want to assure you that we are on course to celebrate that first woman president in Namibia come March 2025 will be Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Yeah. There's nothing, no rumors cannot displace that journey of ours that have already started. So we are going to do that.
Yeah. The final question, very briefly, Sisa, is then, I mean, you sit in platforms with the vice president. You must have attended some of her rallies and stuff like that. How calm is she amid all this? Is she unsettled by this thing that, oh, maybe I'm being misled here legally in terms of the interpretations? Or is she on the same page as yourself and everybody else to say, look, there's no ambiguity here?
If she was unsettled, she would not have already in February this year, the Polity Bureau where I sit decided and mandated her to lead leaders from region to report on the outcome of the Congress. And part of it is really to tell them that there will be elections come 2024, and in accordance with the party rules and procedure, the vice president will be the candidate if the president cannot. So she's not unsettled, she's happy. She has a massive support of everybody in the party and on the ground. You have seen yourself. And I have attended, in fact, I attended the first rally in Katima. So she is already planning That's why she's doing engagement. She's a very good note taker. And I can tell you, she's already working on her vision to continue with the legacy of Dr. Sem Nujoma, Hifikepunye Pohamba, and Hage Geingob. And she is working closely with those leaders, including our president. And she is doing it with the support of the Swapo party structures, including our president, Dr. Hage Geingob.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
Sisa, thank you very much for making time.
Thank you for inviting me to come here.
Wonderful. Yeah. That is Sisa Namandje. He is a Swapo Central Committee and Politburo member, and also a seasoned lawyer, coming in to interpret for us what the party's policies and regulations say about nominating candidates. Thank you for watching.